Hey guys, so in case you didn't see my last video, I tested these three paints. On this bottle here. That was the molotow 600 burner gold. This was the Montana gold chrome. And this was the flame blue. Now the reason I'm doing another video on the gold chrome is because I went and forgot about dang paint, which is another paint I use sometimes. So I'm just gonna basically recap on everything, and I'm gonna spray the dang gold chrome and maybe get some better results. Who knows? So for starters, I've painted another spot on the bottle, pure black. Get that little strip out of there. Once this is done drying, give it another 5-10 minutes. I will spray some dang gold paint on there, and we'll see if it'll be able to beat any of these. Maybe beat the drying time on the molotow, which is going to be hard to beat because it is really fast drying paint. Or maybe even just beat the strength on the Montana or the flame. Because although these are really smooth, they don't seem to hold to the plastic or the base coat of black that I put down, as well as the molotow. Just to kind of recap, the molotow, it dried the fastest, like 10 minutes it was dry, solid, and it had a really nice gold color. But the issue with the molotow I found is it liked to run a lot, and it wasn't as smooth as these two guys. But it was very, very strong. Really strong paint. I could not scrape that off with my finger. Now these two, they took a lot longer to dry, and they were kind of easy to just scratch off. I wonder if that's changed at all. No, it's still just as easy to scratch it off, and this is about a week later. So anyway, we'll spray this dang on there, and we'll see what we can get from this. Okay, so I just finished spraying the dang gold. As you can see, it kind of looks a little more glossy than the others. I got this kind of fisheye stuff going on. That might be because I never really washed the bottle from the last time. It's just been sitting for a couple days. First thoughts on it are, though, I mean, it's still wet, but it's definitely a little more glossy than the other two, or other three. I'll see if it stays that way once it's dry. So it's kind of cool too, because this paint's quite a bit cheaper than the other ones. I'm touching the dang after about 5 minutes. All the overspray is totally dry, so it's acting, for dry time, it's acting really close to the molotow. Just a quick recap. The molotow went on pretty heavy, so it dripped, but it has a really nice smooth color to it if you apply it light, and it dries extremely quick, and it's really strong paint. I cannot scratch that with my fingernail. The Montana seemed to be the cleanest to apply, but it took a couple hours to dry. And once it did dry, I could scrape it off with my fingernail, which is very similar to the flame. It took a while to dry, but it's a really nice smooth paint. Not quite as smooth as the Montana gold, but I could also scrape this off with my fingernail. Whereas The molotow I could not scrape off with my fingernail. So the dang paint, yeah, it is really dry now. I'm gonna give it another couple minutes and I'll do a scratch test on it, but it already seems to be a little stronger than the other two. I mean a little stronger than the Flame and the Montana. I don't think you're gonna beat the molotow strength. That's some pretty wicked paint. But we'll see. So 5 minutes in, we're dry. Where I put it on thick, it's still a tiny bit tacky, but like as you can see, I can rub my finger on there. There's nothing. So this is dry. This is dry. I'll give it 5 minutes and I'll do a scratch test on it just to show you guys. This is actually I don't know. This seems to be a tiny bit smoother than the Flame. The only reason it doesn't look as smooth is because I got those fish eyes. So if I didn't get those fish eyes, this would be right up there with the Montana. But the Montana, it still seems, mind the overspray from the black that I did, but yeah. So I think the smoothest is still going to be Montana. Montana is so smooth and crisp. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes now. I don't think this is getting any stronger than it is now. It's solid. So, dang paint, molotow, these two guys, very, very quick drying paint. 5-10 minutes, you're good to go. Montana Gold, Flame Blue. They lay on a little nicer, easier to spray, but they take hours to dry, totally dry to the touch. They'll be tacky for hours. Strength wise, let's see what we can get. Oh, it's strong. Yeah, so I mean, I get little scratches compared to the molotow. I mean, the molotow's had a couple days to dry now. So I would say this dang paint is actually quite a bit stronger than these two as well. Okay, so for my final results, Montana Gold, definitely the smoothest paint. Not the strongest, and takes a long time to dry. Flame, not as smooth as Montana, takes a long time to dry, and not as strong. The dang paint is pretty strong, very fast drying, not quite as smooth as Montana, not as shiny as the Flame or Montana, but definitely well worth it, especially since it's almost like half the price of the others. And the molotow burner. This stuff, if you need to cover a large area very quick, this is the paint you're going to want to go with. It dries super fast. It is super strong, but it is not a clean paint if you're trying to do a small area, which is more what I do. So overall, I think the best bang for your buck is the dang paint. If you're trying to do a piece of artwork that you want super, super smooth and you're willing to spend a couple days on it, or at least a couple hours waiting for paint to dry to coat other stuff, the Montana, I believe, would be the way to go. So those are kind of my findings. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them below. And next video, I don't know if you can see back here. Try not to look at all the mess on my table there, but I'll be doing the chromes. So stay tuned for that.